So taking a great photo isn't always about the subject that you're taking the picture of or the image quality. Although, obviously you have to have those two, there is a third factor to it, and that's framing the subject. And that's what's going to draw the viewer's eyes to the subject and make them see what you want them to see and tell the story that you want to tell with that photograph. So one of the first little tricks when using your phone, for photography that you'll figure out is the rule of thirds. And this may be a feature you've looked at and you may know it or you may not know it, but it's what's called the grid. And, let's take a look at how to turn that on. You just go into your settings of your phone and you can toggle this grid, or at least on mine, you can toggle it on and off. And what that's going to do, that's going to turn that grid on and off for you so that as you're taking the picture, you can take a look at it and, kind of frame it. But I'm going to call this the rule of thirds, but I'm going to use that name loosely, okay? It's not really a rule, but it is a good guideline for you when you're taking pictures of, about where they figured out, that the best part of the photo is going to be in that shot. And, another thing it will do with your phone when you got grid on is it'll change it from landscape to portrait. You don't have to do anything when you turn your phone from landscape to portrait. You don't actually have to do anything. So that'll help you out. So if you can, go ahead, get your phone out and take a few photos. Find a subject, a person, who you can take the photo of. And first, try the upper line and, align one right, then align one center, then align one left. And use that grid to help you out as you're taking those different photos and see whether you like the left or the right or the center. Now go ahead and take a picture of an object close to the ground. In this reference, I'm using a ball and take a picture of it. And again, use that lower grid line this time and align it left, center, and right. And see how those come out for you. And see which ones you like best. Okay, so one of my favorite things that I like to do when I'm taking pictures is try to use natural lines to tell the story or to point the viewer in the direction that you want them to look. And it's a really great way, to use a natural landscape a lot of times. Use a fence, a road, a guardrail. Something like that has a line. It doesn't have to be straight. It could be a curved line. A road leading up to a house that curves around, and, kind of use your rule of thirds and keep it a little bit on the left or the right. And, take the photo from that perspective and lead the viewer's eyes around to that. And those natural lines can really make an interesting photograph for you. Some other things that can be used as natural lines are the landscape. It could be a grass or something like that, a grass line. Rays of light as they're coming through. Rays of light can be a really cool way of leaving them in the picture and pointing the viewer towards the sun or towards the sunset or whatever it may be. So, try that out. Try different things. When you're taking photos, remember, these are digital photos nowadays. If you try something and you don't like it, just hit that delete button and it's gone. So take more photos than what you think and experiment and give those natural lines a try. So another way of, using angles to tell a story in your photograph are low to high. That's one way you can take the picture from low up to high, and it gives the subject power and authority and, really helps tell that story. And, the other thing is you can take it from high to low, which there again, that gives the viewer of the photograph the power and the authority, I hate to put it this way, but looking down at an object. So, try those different things. Those can really make a difference in the way your photograph comes out. So don't get too hung up on these kind of rules. Just use them as guidelines And you know, like I say, it's digital photography, so try different things and try different modes and different, you know, cinematic things that you can do to change your photograph and to draw the viewer's eyes to what you want them to see. And that's what's really neat about photography, is telling the story and getting people to see what you want them to see. So I hope this video's helped you, and if it has, go ahead, hit that like button and watch this video next.